You're a lifesaver. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Single dad got fired for being late after helping a pregnant woman. She owned the entire company Chai, helping a CEO woman. Jake Matthews wiped the sweat from his forehead as he gripped the steering wheel tighter. He was already running 20 minutes late for his shift at Morrison Tech Solutions, and his boss, Mr. Hendricks, had made it crystal clear last week that one more tardy arrival would mean termination. As a single father to 7-year-old Emma, losing this job wasn't an option. The rain had started as a drizzle but quickly transformed into a torrential downpour. Through the sheets of water cascading down his windshield, Jake spotted a figure in red standing beside a stalled car on the side of the rural highway. As he got closer, his heart sank. It was a heavily pregnant woman, soaked to the bone, frantically waving at passing cars that simply sped by without a second glance. Jake's foot hovered over the gas pedal. Every second counted. If he stopped, he'd definitely be fired. But the image of that woman, vulnerable and alone in the middle of nowhere, flashed through his mind alongside memories of his late wife, Sarah, who had passed away during childbirth complications with Emma. He couldn't drive past. Pulling over, Jake jumped out into the rain and jogged toward the woman. She was shivering, her elegant red dress plastered against her pregnant belly, mascara running down her cheeks. "Are you okay? What happened?" Jake asked, raising his voice over the drumming rain. "My car just died," she said, her voice trembling. "I've been here for 30 minutes. No one stops anymore. I have an important meeting in the city and She winced suddenly, clutching her stomach. "Are you in labor?" Jake's eyes widened. No, just Braxton Hicks contractions. They've been happening all week. But I need to get to the city." "Please, I'll pay you whatever you want." "I don't want your money," Jake said firmly. "Come on, get in my car. I'll drive you." As they drove through the storm, the woman introduced herself as Victoria Ashford. She was composed despite her situation, making phone calls to postpone meetings and reassuring her assistant that she was safe. Jake noticed the designer watch on her wrist, the quality of her jewelry. This woman had money, but right now she was just another person who needed help. "What about you?" Victoria asked after finishing her calls. "I'm making you terribly late for something, aren't I?" Jake's jaw tightened. "My shift at Morrison Tech Solutions started 45 minutes ago. I'm probably getting fired today, but some things are more important than a job." "You have children?" Victoria asked, noticing the car seat in the back and the scattered toys. "A daughter. Emma, she's 7, lost her mother 3 years ago during childbirth complications." His voice caught slightly. "I couldn't just drive past you. I couldn't." Victoria fell silent, her eyes glistening with tears that weren't just from the rain. "I'm so sorry about your wife, and I'm sorry you're losing your job because of me." "I'd make the same choice again," Jake said simply. When they finally reached the city, Victoria directed him to a towering glass building in the business district. Morrison Tower, the sign read. Jake's blood ran cold. Morrison Tech Solutions, where he worked, was a subsidiary company housed in this very building. "This is where you work?" Victoria asked, noticing his expression. "Yeah, on the 15th floor, tech support." Victoria smiled mysteriously. "Walk me inside." "I insist." Still confused, Jake helped her from the car and into the building. The security guards immediately straightened when they saw Victoria, greeting her with respectful nods. They took an elevator that required a special key card, bypassing all the regular floors and going straight to the executive level. The doors opened to a luxurious office suite. A nameplate on the massive oak desk read, "Victoria Ashford Morrison, CEO." Jake's mouth fell open. You're the CEO of Morrison Industries?" "I am," Victoria said, settling into her chair with visible relief. "And you, Jake Matthews, just saved the CEO from giving birth on the side of a highway." She pressed a button on her phone. "Sarah, please get me the HR file for Jake Matthews, tech support, 15th floor, and contact his supervisor, Mr. Hendricks. I want him in my office in 10 minutes. "Ms. Morrison, please, I don't want to cause any trouble." Jake stammered. "I just wanted to help." and help you did. Now it's my turn. Mr. Hendricks arrived looking nervous and irritated, his expression changing dramatically when he saw Jake standing in the CEO's office, still dripping rainwater on the expensive carpet. "Mr. Hendricks," Victoria began, her voice carrying the authority of someone used to commanding rooms full of executives. "Mr. Matthews was late today because he stopped to help me when my car broke down in the storm. He was 45 minutes late, knowing he'd likely be terminated, but he helped me anyway. That kind of character, that kind of integrity, is exactly what this company needs." Hendricks's face went pale. I didn't know, Ms. Morrison. I apologize." "Jake," Victoria turned to him, "how would you feel about a new position? I need someone I can trust in my office. Someone with real values. I'm creating a new role, special assistant to the CEO, focusing on employee relations and corporate culture. The pay is triple what you're making now, full benefits and flexible hours so you can be there for your daughter." Jake felt his knees weaken. "Ms. Morrison, I don't have the qualifications for something like that. You have exactly the qualifications I need. You have compassion, integrity, and the courage to do the right thing even when it costs you everything. That's more valuable than any MBA." She smiled warmly. "Besides, you saved 2 lives today, mine and my baby's. What if I had gone into real labor out there? What if something had happened?" Tears welled in Jake's eyes. "I don't know what to say. Say yes. Say you'll help me build a company culture where people like you are valued and promoted, not punished for being decent human beings." "Yes," Jake whispered, then stronger, "yes. Thank you." Victoria stood, extending her hand. "Welcome to the executive team, Jake. Oh, and take the rest of the day off. Spend it with Emma. Tell her your good news. You start Monday." As Jake left the building, the rain had stopped and sunlight was breaking through the clouds. He called Emma's school, arranging to pick her up early for a celebration lunch. For the first time in 3 years since Sarah's death, he felt like maybe everything was going to be okay. True to her word, Victoria transformed Jake's life. Over the next months, he brought a human perspective to the company's policies, helping establish better parental leave, flexible working arrangements, and a culture of compassion. He became Victoria's trusted advisor, and when her daughter Grace was born healthy and strong, Jake and Emma were among the first visitors at the hospital. Victoria often told the story at company meetings, how the best hire she ever made was a man who was willing to be fired for helping a stranger in the rain. It became part of Morrison Industries' culture, a reminder that character matters more than credentials, and that sometimes the most important business decision is simply being a decent human being. Jake never forgot that rainy morning on the highway. The moment when choosing kindness over self-preservation changed not just his life, but set him on a path he never could have imagined. And whenever he felt overwhelmed by his new responsibilities, he remembered what Victoria had told him. "That first day, you already showed me what kind of person you are. Everything else we can teach you." Years later, when Emma graduated from college, Victoria was there in the audience, cheering alongside Jake. The woman he'd helped on the highway had become not just his boss, but his mentor and friend, proof that one act of kindness can ripple out in ways you never expect, touching lives and changing futures. And it all started with a simple choice: to stop when others kept driving, to help when it would have been easier to look away, to choose compassion over convenience. That choice made all the difference.